Hey guys, welcome to another Wildlife Overdose podcast. Today, we kind of talk on a subject that gets a little touchy at times, but we want to put our opinion out there and kind of say what the show kind of feels on this issue. And Rusty, what do you consider a trophy?
It's a very, I've had so many discussions on this and what the industry and what it's become and everything. And, with the TV show, we started 5 years ago, and from day one, we just wanted to, whatever you decide to take, and Ted Nugent said this best, and I've always quoted him, and I can't get it quite right, but what audacity does one man have to say to another that's worked and bought his tags, his equipment, and went out and put the time in, and he took this animal that he wanted to take. In his eyes, it was a trophy, or may have not even been a trophy in his eyes, but he decided to take that animal, and it was his business, and that's why we've kind of done the TV show. It doesn't matter if it's a doe or a button buck or a spike or 10 point, 180-inch deer. Whatever you decide to take is in your own mind and your own vision. That's a trophy.
Yep.
And so what my thought on all this is, you got a young person in town or not, or just getting into hunting, or a new person, new adult, and they're watching these TV shows, and you constantly see for the last 35, 40 years, you always see these TV shows shooting 180, 200-inch deer. I'm not going to get into an argument with on that, but I've worked at high-fenced ranches, and I know how they operate, and that's if somebody wants to do that, that is their business. I mean, it's just not my cup of tea.
If that's what you want to do, go do it.
It's not my cup of tea.
Don't put other people down for shooting a nice racked buck that
for whatever
they're happy with.
We get into that so much, and people I see on social media, people putting down other people's deer that you can see the smile on their face with the picture, and that they was happy with this animal. And and one thing I don't like, and I don't want to see on film is someone saying, "Well, he's not my biggest," or he's not this
not
or that.
Quite what I wanted,
Don't downplay the animal. No. The animal, God let us, do what we do, and created these animals, and we go out and take them. Don't downgrade. Have a lot of respect for that animal that you decided to take, and be happy with it. We might harass each other, about this or that, and maybe having milk still in their mouth, or things like that. We're just harassing, but we definitely 1,000% want you to take what makes you happy, and that is your business. I'm going to be happy for you. I don't care what it is. I mean, if you took it out, I'm happy for you.
Yeah, it don't matter as long as you've done it legally, and you're tickled with what you did, or that kid is happy. By all means, have at it.
Hunt with what you want. I don't want to get into the big deal about crossbows versus compound versus long, or recurve, or rifle, or muzzleloader. It doesn't matter to anyone, and it doesn't. We shouldn't be. We've got enough stuff going on in this world, with politics and everything else, to be bringing all this stuff into the hunting community. We need to stand together. Our Second Amendment rights are in jeopardy all the time. The hunting industry is in jeopardy from PETA and different things. So. Let's leave all that out, and be happy for one
Build
another.
Each other up, not tear each other apart.
It's if you want to go pay $15,000 to $25,000 to shoot a pinned animal that's over 200 inches, 300 inches, that's your business. But I just like watching this raw, natural, everyday hunter that some kid or a new person getting in the industry shoots this deer, and he goes, hey, I killed a bigger deer than these guys on TV. And that don't discourage them people, because you watching these shows all the time, people are getting discouraged. Why I didn't kill 170, 80-inch deer this year. I'm not traveling, to 30 states or whatever to do all this. If you can do that and you want to do that, great. But
we're not all on the same playing
We're
field.
not on the
There's
same
guys
field.
that only get to hunt 3 weekends a year.
Absolutely.
You know.
So what they take, and that's feeding their family
Yep.
or satisfying what they wanted to go out and do, that they took the time and their money and
Yep.
you know, let's not bring all that stuff into the
No.
hunting
It's
industry.
it's about the camaraderie. It's about the excitement. You know.
Absolutely.
This year, Basil got his first kill on video, and he shot a doe opening day of youth season, and then that kid was shaking, ecstatic, and I was too right there.
Yep.
I got my wife her first deer this year. I was shaking more than she was. She had to tell me to quit shaking, you know. And it was just a big old nanny doe, but
And that's what
she was
that's what it's
absolutely,
about.
yep, she was ecstatic. There was an episode of Kirby where he, you know, killed his turkey this
Yep.
year and was shaking like a leaf. And I'm sure Kirby's killed hundreds of turkeys,
Yep.
you know, and it's just, it made him happy. It
Yep.
tickled him to death. Now, you know, we pick on Ashley all the time about duck hunting and stuff. Duck hunting's not our trophy, you know. We don't care nothing about it, but
Yep.
we're not going to put her down for going out there and shooting ducks and everything else. And she's not going to put us down for shooting a smaller buck or, you know, shooting a doe or button buck or whatever, you know. We all have to get along and
Yep.
build each other up, not tear the industry down.
I shot one turkey this spring. It was what we call a super Jake, if you want to.
Yeah.
He was a little bit older. He was hatched earlier, and he was a little bit bigger than a normal Jake at that time. But turkey season was tough. I seen plenty of turkeys. It just wasn't working. It was just about done
Yeah.
after the first weekend. But I made a decision to shoot this Jake, and that's the only one I've shot. The only turkey I shot the rest of the year, and I was happy with the one I shot. I mean,
Yep.
I shot a turkey, and we ate turkey that night, and it was just you know, being out in the woods in God's creation and
And just having success.
having some some kind of success. It just don't you know. So that's where I am on it. Shoot whatever's legal with whatever's legal, and it's your business.
This year, I'm going to bow hunt with the traditional bow again. I'm liable to stick a fork horn because I haven't killed a buck in years. I haven't killed a deer in years with my traditional bow, and that's a feat in itself.
Absolutely.
You know, and if it gets my heart a pumping when it comes in, I'm probably gonna sling an arrow at it. I don't care how big it is.
You know, and not to go into the depth of it, you know, but you know, I shoot a crossbow. Different reasons why I can't shoot a regular bow. I don't have any issues with them, but crossbow versus a compound. I mean, I'm not getting into that because it's a whole can of worms. But there's no difference. But
it's
I'm
legal.
not, whether I'm shooting a compound or whether I'm shooting a crossbow.
Yep.
I'm going to keep my mouth shut because you recurve guys and longbow guys are the original ones. Now everything after that, there's sights, there's cams, there's cables. There's not much difference between them. The only thing difference is loading and reloading
Yeah.
versus bow and compound. But just use whatever's legal and don't.
Yep. But that
We don't need to
crossbow-
bring any other this crap
No.
into our hunting world and be happy for one another and encourage each other and you know, just keep it simple like that. You know, we're losing bow hunters every year for sure.
Yeah.
And that, you know, I don't know the exact numbers, but there has been a decline. And when I call a bow hunter, I don't care what you're shooting, whether it's
As long as it's shooting the
it's
arrow.
a bow.
Yeah.
It's slinging an arrow out there.
We're
you know,
losing more and more, and we're losing more and more kids because they go out there and they see deer, but they don't see a 180-inch buck, so they think, well, I can't shoot it.
Yeah.
You know, or new hunters even in general.
Well, I've even seen talk of kids using crossbows that their dad or mom or whatever it is, they die hard compound bow shooter, and my kid is not going to use a crossbow. So that discouraged them. They have to wait a while to hunt.
And why not?
Yeah,
They
if it
can-
gets a
they
kid
can-
in the woods
Yeah.
and
In Missouri, they can legally hunt at 6 years old with like our 2-vet tripods.
Yeah.
You can put that crossbow there, and a 6-year-old can shoot that crossbow. And
Absolutely.
honestly, they can shoot that crossbow better and more efficiently than they can a rifle because it doesn't kick, it doesn't have noise, it doesn't spook them. and you're getting them up close and personal with the wildlife for that experience.
And, well, even with our kids and stuff, you know, all my feeling is on it, like our 8-year-old, I wouldn't let her shoot at a deer with a crossbow, probably more than 30 yards at the most. I'm not going to shoot at a deer over 45.
No, there's too much that can happen in reaction.
Absolutely, and that's I know guys that shoot 100 quarter with a compound, and yes, a crossbow will shoot that far, but it starts slowing down, and deer can duck it and all that kind of things. But
and I like shooting 100 yards with a compound, but there's no way I'm ever going to shoot anything past 40 yards.
It's just something you want to do. But as far as trophies and things like that, that's the individual's own choice. You know what? I don't care what it is.
And if you have your own land and you're managing deer and you want to wait for a big buck,
absolutely
do it. But if you're out hunting public land and you see a fork horn that you want to shoot and it's legal, by all means, if it makes you happy, shoot it, fill the tag, and feed your family.
We just made the decision we don't hunt high fenced, or pinned animals, and mainly. I've worked there. I know how they operate, and I know it's just not my cup of tea.
No.
And I'm not going to base a TV show off of something. You know, I've got friends of mine, and I don't care to do it, and I don't care who does it. But you know, just like even hog hunts in the high fenced areas. I mean, realistically, I could go to the sale barn and have me a 40-acre patch, and I could throw hogs in there and sit in a tree stand and shoot them.
Yeah.
If you want to do that, that's your business. That's just not my cup of tea. How I like hunting, but I'd rather not. I'd rather go hunting somewhere out of state or whatever, and not even kill an animal, than to hunt high fence.
Yeah,
and
that's me. I'd rather kill a smaller animal with a recurve or longbow or something, a compound, that I go out of state, I hunt public land, and just put the challenge. You know, I like playing that chess match.
And that's our challenge. But you know, the next guy, if he wants to go do it, I think Jackie's going out to Oklahoma this weekend to shoot prairie dogs. I mean, yes, it is a big open area, but the place also has hogs. You can confined hogs that you can shoot if you'd like, and you want to bring meat home, or you want to take your family out there, or a big group. You know, you just want to go kill some hogs. You know, whatever choice it is that you decide to do that's your business. And same thing on the deer. You know, this aging. Well, he's only 2.5-year-old. He's only 3.5-year-old deer. You should have left him, or a 4.5-year-old deer. I hear this all the time. Or he'd been a bigger buck next year. Listen, disease, cars, your neighbor, poachers, predators, anything will possibly shoot that deer. So if you decide not to shoot it, you can't be mad if your neighbor does, or if it gets hit by a car, or disease, or whatever. You know, it's just that chance you're taking. But if you know, because you're deciding to pass on this deer, because you know, with the bow, to me, I watched a podcast, somebody's podcast, you know, and I don't know this, and so I don't even know if I should be quoting him, but he said only 10% of people would shoot a deer 100 and I think it was 140 inch, 120 inch deer with a bow in their life.
Yep.
Well, I mean, everybody I know that just about they've killed over 120 inch deer with a bow. But if you don't, who cares?
Yeah.
Shoot what you want, with what you want, how you want, as long as it's legal. And I'll be just as happy as you are for you.
Yeah. And to me, it's the same as, you know, as kids growing up, or you taking your kids fishing and they catching a bluegill. I mean, you're talking a 3-inch fish, 4-inch fish, and getting ecstatic over it.
Yeah.
Why can't we all have that same ecstatic and that same, oh, good job to everybody who, you know, is successful?
And where that's come from is, you know, 40 years ago, some big TV shows, that's all they was doing is who could kill a 180 to 200 inch deer and do it every year.
Yeah.
And I've seen the talk, you know, going around that it discourages, and they're just sick and tired of seeing this every year and being discouraged. So, you know, we provide a shoot what you want, what makes you happy type of TV show, and just raw. And this is what it is. If you miss, if you make a bad shot, I mean, everybody's made a bad shot. I don't care how many arrows you can put in the 10 ring on a target. You have made a bad shot on a deer, or you haven't been hunting very much.
Yeah.
Everybody's done it and makes mistakes, and it's not anything to discourage or put them down on that. I mean, I've seen on these social media accounts, made a bad shot, and well, you ought to go to the range or something like that more often, or you
It
need
happens with everybody.
We need to stop bringing this into our hunting community and encourage each other and be happy for each other. And new hunters give good advice and not try to give them false advice, or I've seen that stuff where, telling a hunter that they need this or that. I've got into this conversation that on camouflage many times. We'll get into that on another, but the camouflage on bow hunting was actually designed for you able to shoot turkeys in the fall for bow season. Other than that, in rifle season, you wear orange. So, just because someone wears whatever kind of camouflage, or they don't have camouflage, or they don't have the nicest bow, they don't have the newest bow, or they shoot a crossbow or whatever. Just let's start being happy for these, people and encourage them and do things like that instead of.
Yeah. I'm gonna say turkey's probably your favorite trophy to chase.
Well, I get that all the time.
Because you like turkey hunting.
I like turkey hunting in the spring, and when it's good and stuff like that. But I really just love all kinds of hunting. I've only recovered one turkey with a bow, and that was last year. And I was happy. I mean, it was a little Jake that was 20 yards from my blind, or 15 yards from my blind, and I got it, and I hit other turkeys, and I quit doing that because I couldn't recover them. But finally got this one. I knew I was going to get him when I pulled the trigger on him. I like turkey hunting. Ashley, she all the time thinks that, I just absolutely, that's the only one I like, but I don't.
Just being out in God's country.
Just being outdoors, but the biggest thing, I quit rifle hunting for quite a few years because, I'd killed I was fortunate enough to kill some really good bucks with a rifle, and it just got boring to me.
Yeah.
And so I even took a break from everything, and then I went to pull the bow back, and I noticed some problems in my sternum and shoulder, and I started shooting a crossbow, and it was kind of fun and things, and I was back into bow hunting at least. Then I added a camera.
And it changes everything.
I shake on a doe still.
Yeah.
Getting it on camera, getting everything lined up and making something like that happen.
Yeah. And that's I figure
exciting.
the rest of the teams with us on the camera ordeal. We've all talked about it. You add the camera in there, and it makes everything different. Kirby, I'd say he's about the same as us. Just he's glad to be out in God's country shooting whatever's legal. Daniel, a grasshopper's a trophy to that fella.
That boy.
If he can shoot it with a bow, he's going to shoot at it.
I tell him all the time that I would never follow. I wouldn't lease a piece of ground that he had
because Daniel's going to shoot everything. He's going to eat everything that he shoots too.
There's no grubs left. There's no mice. There's no nothing.
Yeah.
This boy is very, very good with a bow. But he is hunting to feed his family.
Yeah.
And that's, we might harass him a little bit here and there, but he's phenomenal with a bow, and he needs to shoot what he wants, or
he shoot what makes him happy to feed his family.
And teaching his little girl and his boy,
they're eating up with it.
Shoot what you want,
and
that's his business. And I would never downplay anything like that, or discourage him from doing anything like that.
Yeah. And then Ronnie gets to go out to Idaho and chase elk and pronghorn, and Ronnie gets to come back home and hunt deer.
Yeah.
Jackie went out to Kansas last year chasing deer. Jackie likes to chase big fish too, though. His trophies are big fish.
Yep. He likes bow fishing,
spoon-billing, and we actually added a new guy to the team, Carl. He's a big whitetail hunter. He loves the deer hunt. I'm a deer guy, but I've also I love to go out and just chase different stuff. I want to go on another bear hunt. I like killing stuff with a bow too. You know, if you can kill something with a traditional bow, you've really pulled something off. It don't have to be a monster animal. A squirrel with a traditional bow is doing something.
Yeah.
And then Ashley likes to chase. She's a quack. She likes to chase the ducks. You know, but we've got a kind of widespread array of what we all like to chase after, and
you know, we harass her all the time. That, you know, that the only trophy duck there is something with the that they're all chasing this band around its leg. You know, and so that's a big trophy. And I don't know that there is a, you know, like a 120-inch duck or a 140-inch duck or something. I don't think there's any of that thing like that, but there may be. I mean, there's turkeys. There's people scoring turkeys. I've never heard that in my life. Scoring a turkey. If it's got an inch or 3/4 inch spurs on the fan tails, you know, the certain colors and the beard certain length and the weighs a certain amount, that's fine. I mean, I don't know.
Now, I'd love to go get my Grand Slam, you know.
Yeah.
And but
it's about the trophies.
It's about the trophies, and it's about the camaraderie.
Yeah.
If we can all pick and have fun and just be a big family, that's what this is all about. It's not about how big of a deer you kill, how many deer you kill. Are you happy? Are you taking care of your family? And are we, you know, able to carry on a conversation and be friends out there?
And no one putting down what you just took and or telling you that, you know, hey, that was just a 3-year-old, 3.5-year-old deer or 2.5-year, you know, things like that. Don't be discouraging. Don't bring it in our community. Encourage each other and just you know, uplift and be happy for the person that, you know, he's all smiles and everything else. Let's not put a frown on his face by you putting him down and things like that. So.
Yeah, and it's just be sure you mentor somebody. If you don't have anybody to take hunting, find somebody in the community and take, you know, and no matter what's going on, just try to, you know, encourage people and be happy. And
one thing last year, you know, you don't know what's going on in this other person's life or whatever, you know. We had a segment last year on Ashley's deer. People don't know the backstory on what people decide to take, you know, and she went through a horrible year and medical stuff like that. And she took this deer, and it was a phenomenal deer. I just shot the deer. But we had some other people that had made some comments that, you know, this deer was only 3.5 years old or what have you. You don't know the backstory, you know. Like
that was one of the only chances. That was one of the only chances she got to get out there, and she got out there and got a phenomenal deer, and it made her happy.
Yeah, and so if a person that's working, you know, 6 to 7 days a week and trying to support his family, and he goes out and he shoots a 4-point or a spike or a doe or whatever, you don't know the backstory with that person. You know what that meant to him. Just not only just the meat, but just that he got to go out there and finally do something, and was successful. You just don't know backstories and things like that.
Yeah.
So,
well, guys, until next time, keep it real and try to take somebody else out and mentor them, and try to help somebody that, you know, may not be seasoned in the woods or whatever, and get them started. And let's uplift everybody and you know, just become a big happy family in the hunting world. Hopefully we'll see you out there in the woods one day and maybe help you drag a deer out or load something in the back of the truck. And until then, we'll see you later.